We had had a lot of events in the years leading up to it, and so I don't think people took it as seriously until the mayor and the governor and a lot of other people got on TV and said, we've been told by the National Weather Service that this is going to be bad.
We didn't think that it was going to be the catastrophe it was, and so when it hit, things became very real.
It looked like the entire world just got picked up, rattled, shaken upside down, and put back down. Everything was just in complete disarray. It was quite a sight to see. Looked like a war zone at home.
I graduated in May of '05 and Katrina happened in August of '05. The prior morning I was in a pool drinking margaritas because we had a hurricane day. My entire family came from Chalmette into my apartment in Baton Rouge to stay with us to evacuate, and it was just a 3-day vacation for them.
We headed out on Saturday for us to get to our evacuation target, which was in Baton Rouge. Probably had 1 million people from the city of New Orleans, the metropolitan New Orleans area, evacuate.
Just a few days before, they called up the National Guard to assist. Our primary mission was to assist in the evacuation. The interstates were jam-packed for days and days of just a solid row of cars.
It was the old, we'd be away for a couple of days, electricity would be off, and we'd come back, electricity would come on, and it would be fine.
I got a phone call from Terry Lasada, who was at that time running Citizens, and he lived in St. Bernard Parish, and he told me, he said, St. Bernard, I think, is totally underwater, probably about 12 feet of water. And then you'd start to hear reports about levees, whether they were failing or overtopping, but nobody was really sure. And then you started seeing some of the first helicopter pictures where they were flying over the New Orleans Marina and showed the Southern Yacht Club on fire.
I got the call from Robert Wooley that morning, who was the insurance commissioner, and he said, the levee is topped in St. Bernard Parish and Industrial Canal is busted through. So what are you going to do? Because all of St. Bernard is flooded. I said, well, I've got my file server. If you can give me a dry corner, I'll go ahead and get started.
I said, why don't you come down here? We've got space and we can set you up and you can start trying to help people pay claims. The fact that we did have a few agents that were able to get back in touch with their constituents and their clients themselves, that was great. So if Richie needed some room, I felt like we could probably help him and provide some. And he was one of the larger agents in St. Bernard Parish, and that was one of the most devastated areas in our state. We started immediately and set up a phone system and a phone line. We bought a phone bank in another state where if we ever did get our lines overrun, I did not want people put on hold forever. We sat down and had several meetings where we just kind of discussed, what are we going to do? So the week after Katrina, we had a meeting at the Airport Hilton in Atlanta, Georgia. And what we did was we took all of the emergency orders that had been issued in 2004 by the state of Florida. And so I didn't want to just start putting out edicts that looked like I was helping people when in fact there were things that the industry couldn't do. And so I want input from the industry to make sure that if we tell you this is what we need you to do, we know it's going to be a hardship, but can you do it? The other thing that we did that I thought made a tremendous difference was we asked the top 10 insurance carriers to send us a senior claims person to live in Baton Rouge and to come to our office every day that my staff was there, and they committed to doing that. And what that did was we would get the same call about the same company 6 or 7 times. But when that would happen, my folks would come out of the room where they were taking the phone calls and walk across the hall to the company who had their representative there and say, hey, we just got 8 calls in the last hour with the same issue. Something's broken in your system. Can you figure out how to fix it? You could see things start flowing smoother. The number of calls would drop. I mean, it really worked well. One of the things that we talked about that we did not want to do was tell people we know what you're going through, because until you've lost everything you own in a single day, I don't think you can really understand what that's like.